Hello, everyone, and welcome to both the Shoegazer 93 and Green Man channels today, as we are going to be talking about the new Ride album, Interplay, which came out the 29th of March. Sam's got it there on CD via Wichita. And this is their seventh studio album, following on nicely from This Is Not a Safe Place. And we're going to be talking about this album in a little bit of depth. We're going to go track to track and talk more generally maybe about how we think this fits into the wider Ride discography, and yeah, maybe what we think about it sort of as a final kind of judgment, what our final thoughts are. And yeah, so how are you doing today, Sam?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hope you're well.
Yeah,
Um, just saw that Ride. They got number 8 in the official albums chart.
yeah, I saw
So
your post about them. I think what being up against Beyonce in the album chart, is that the UK one?
yeah. It was just updated today. I think they do it every Friday. But I think a lot of people got a bit too excited, and then they
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
they overestimated it a little bit there, saying it was in contention for number 1. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because you had like, was it Shed 7 and that new Liam Gallagher John Squire one got to number 1, didn't it? So if
Yeah, I've not
those
really
guys
been following
can do
the
it.
album charts very closely, but it's interesting. Isn't it? It still shows signs a bit of a shoegaze revival, saying that TikTok has had an influence on that and played a
Mm.
part in getting shoegaze a bit more back on the map. And all very
Yeah,
exciting. I'd love it. I'd
slow
have loved
slow
it for
dive, I
Ride
think
to have
was
made it. So that would have been amazing. I bet that
yeah. I mean,
you'd
slow dive started the TikTok sensation, and then I think these other bands are being uplifted at the same time because of the association with slow dive, I reckon.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I saw you get this in HMV. I love going to HMV. I
Yeah,
absolutely love going there and buying records still, buying CDs. I might be doing that tomorrow as it happens. And yeah, I actually don't have a physical copy of this yet, so you
they do it on
definitely
vinyl.
do it. Yeah,
They do
yeah.
it on vinyl, but I don't own a LP player,
Me
so
neither.
a
Me
vinyl
neither.
player.
So yeah, do you want to sort of talk about, should we talk about track by track as we were saying? So you want to
Yeah,
start, we're going to start with the first song, aren't we? So Peace Sign.
yeah.
Um,
Peace sign. Should I go first?
yeah, yeah, go for it.
So yeah, I remember this coming out. This was the first single, the first sign, the first product from this album that came out on YouTube. It was just like a random post out of the blue, and yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be we shouldn't really listen to Ride with these shoegaze hats on our heads, really. I think, and even guitar hats as well. They've gone in a very synth-heavy direction, I noticed. But I don't think it was anything too surprising from, remember, like repetition on This Is Not a Safe Place.
Yeah.
Like repetition was already a kind of signal to where they were going, an indicator. So, we shouldn't be that surprised about it. But I mean, personally, I didn't really like the synth heavy stuff. But I think that's coming from a guitar player's perspective. I might be a bit biased there. 'Cause
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's very poppy, isn't it? Happy clappy kind of song. Well, we got a lot of plosives on the microphone there when I said the P sound, the pop, the pop sound. Yeah, and that's why I normally, when I record stuff, I have the pop shield over the top of it. But yeah, anyway, very accessible, and I think it will
Mm.
help. That song will help them gain new fans, I think.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. For me personally, it's one of my least favorite songs on the album, the opening track. I just feel that it's just kind of as a lead single, I sort of see what they were going for. Like you say, it's kind of making it's got an accessibility to it. It's catchy. It doesn't do too much for me personally. I find it's like just got it doesn't really go much further than its chorus for me, and just being a memorable kind of chorus with the peace sign chorus. And I don't know, for me, it's definitely not my favorite on the album. But I mean, there's plenty more positive things to come from me as we go through this. But yeah, not my favorite track personally. And the singles for me didn't really hit
Mm.
for whatever reason, apart from one single, which we'll come to.
Yeah, I think I know what that might
Yeah,
be. Yeah, and one more thing to say about it is that yeah, I agree. It doesn't really, in comparison to like Lannoy Point and like Leave 'Em All Behind,
yeah,
even like Carnival of Light with Moonlight Medicine and Black Knight Crash from Tarantula. I don't think it even holds up to those as a decent first track.
yeah, absolutely. Completely agree on that. Yeah, it feels as a first track. Yeah, it just doesn't quite like kickstart the album the way that the others
Mm.
do. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right then. So I think we're on to Last
That's
Frontier.
Frontiers. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll start with this. Yeah, this was like the second single that came out, I remember. And I just thought this was just an okay track. I thought, I don't know, Andy Bell is on lead vocals for this, I believe. And he's just kind of mumbling the verses like, something like that. And then there's no real uplift to the song, you know, it doesn't really
Mm,
take off anywhere. It's kind of like meandering along, I kind of
yeah.
find. And then like somebody on the Ride group, because I'm part of the Ride, there's like a Ride fans group on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know if you know this. It's got
I'm not
about
in
like
that. Maybe I need to join it
8,000K
now.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I need to join it.
And somebody mentioned that it sounds a bit the Lightning Seeds. And when I think about like Life of Riley, it kind of makes sense actually. Like I saw what they meant when you think about the song like Life of Riley. It's like duh, 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 like that. And I can see what they mean by this Lightning Seeds reference.
Yeah, I kind of
So
see that.
again, I think it's probably Andy and that with the whole sort of Britpop 60s retro fascination that he has. But I just thought, you know, I think there's some nice kind of drony effects and stuff going on.
Mm,
It's got a bit of an atmosphere, I suppose. So
yeah,
that puts it, you know, I think it's an okay song because of that. I think without the Sonics, I think it could be quite a bad track.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, again, I'm with you on that. I think for me, it's a little better than Peace Sign. I enjoy it a little bit more. Um, and I think this is one of those tracks that made me think of some of those 2000s bands that were kind of in that sort of post-punk revival period, like the Editors a little bit. I felt like this track and another track maybe I might be thinking of later, the fourth track, Monaco, but it's one of those songs that reminds me of that era of bands, and Maximo Park and that kind of thing, where I just feel there's that sound there a bit. But it's a pretty good song, pretty solid. I think it was the first track where I started to think, okay, well, I'll see how we go with this. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. I think, like you say, it's got a pretty nice atmosphere to it, built into the track, some good sonics, good sound
Mm.
textures, and a little bit more for me going on than Peace Sign. So yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right. So then we go to track 3, which is Light in a
In a
Quiet Room.
quiet room, right? Yeah,
Yes, and
interesting one to
this
talk
is
about.
when
This one.
things get interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, this is much more of a throwback to their
Mm.
earlier sound and the one you can call a shoegaze song for sure. I actually made a meme saying before the shoegaze purists say anything, I said, listen to this track. I said before the shoegaze purists say anything, and got a few likes actually on the shoegaze memes Facebook page,
Okay.
which I'm joint admin on that actually.
Oh
So
wow.
I can actually sign in and post on it. I mean, only about probably like 1 in 10 of mine these days because I'm not
Yeah.
that. I used to be more prominent on it actually, but
Okay.
that's probably
Yeah.
before I had a job and stuff, so I had a bit more time to mess around.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, the song. So Light in a Quiet Room. See, I keep on thinking Light in a
In a
Dark
quiet
Room.
place. I keep thinking in a
Yeah,
quiet place in my head.
yeah, because also that's yes, this is not a safe place. I also think of as well, and So I keep on getting the name wrong because obviously light and dark would be opposite. So I keep on thinking it's light in the dark room. But yeah, this song, so it starts off with these like kind of like a slow pace kind of vocal melody, isn't it? With Andy leading the vocals. And the real thing that interested me was Mark Gardner. Normally he's kind of like doubling with Andy and they're like singing at the same kind of volume. You know, they're kind of going along at the same harmony. But this time it's like Mark's vocals are reverbed into the background. And it's kind of like you can't actually make out what he's saying. So I thought maybe that was a bit of a little subtle nod there to real shoegaze, you know, where it's like you can't understand the words, you know, the lack of diction. So I liked that, and then obviously the song stops, and you think, "Whoa,
Yeah,
what's happening here?" And then suddenly all this noise starts to build. You got Loz doing the cymbal thing, and it's basically what Drive Blind. If you've seen Ride Live, they do that noise section in the middle of the song Drive Blind.
okay.
I don't know if you ever seen them live, but they do this 10-minute noise freak out from the Drive Blind song, which is like off their like first EP. And so people are saying that maybe that like this song is going to it's going to take the place of Drive Blind as the new kind of noise section part. And
Maybe.
then you got all that going on where they're playing with the pedals and it's like phaser noises and stuff and all this pitch shifting stuff. And then you got these like power chords that come in like boom 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 boom
Yeah.
boom boom, quite rocky. And yeah, and then it all comes in, doesn't it? You get all these like textures just flying off it and lots of swirly noises there coming off it. And
Yeah.
I thought it was a great track and definitely one of my favorites. Yeah.
I have to say, I was thinking when I first heard this song, I thought when it did that second half of the track with the noise section, I thought, I bet I know who's going to enjoy this bit. I bet you Sam will like this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought, yeah, definitely a highlights. Yeah, it's a shame it isn't a single, so maybe not too many people are gonna notice it.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, for me, at this point in the album, the track, it was the first song where I took a bit more notice. I thought, oh yeah, this is sounding a bit more like the Ride I kind of know from the slightly older era with that sort of. Interestingly, it's a two-part kind of track to me, because it does go into the break a bit, and then you get the build up into the sort of all the noise and the more sort of yeah, that crescendo sound to the end. And I kind of dig it. I still think we're not yet in the tracks where I'm really, really loving the album yet, still for me. But I like this one the most out of the three we've talked about so far.
Yeah,
We're getting to the tracks I
sure.
really like soon. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Space Burn 3 vibes, what people were saying on the group.
I can hear that. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
there's a
Yeah.
bit of like maybe a bit of prog rock in there as well with
Yeah.
the two parts joined together. Bit of progressive influence. Yeah, cool. So next
Monaco.
track is Monaco.
And that was a single, wasn't it?
This is a single,
Yeah.
yes, the third single that came out. And I actually heard this song live, but they played it
Cool.
in Taunton in 2023. They came down to the West Country for once and and played this new song called Monaco. And I think that they've had it in their set list since like early 2023. They were playing it in the US before they did their UK show. And it was very guitar driven. It was not like it sounded not very much like the final products actually with the synth heavy. This is very 80s, isn't it? Very Eurythmics, Human League, Soft Cell. I definitely get lots of those vibes. Even the drums they have that sort of gated reverb, the slap sound that Phil Collins is famous for. And you know, I think that when it was played just with guitars, I thought that was the best. When it was just when they did it live, it was more the Smiths much more sort of Johnny Marr sounding with when it was just the guitars, and I just preferred that. But then that's coming from a guitar centric kind of view, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
But
understandable. Did you prefer it live than the studio version,
I
or
preferred it live,
yeah,
yes. But I still think it's got a very good vocal melody. I like the way it rises when it gets to the chorus. It's
mm,
got a nice
yeah,
soaring chorus that lasts for a long time. It very much reminds me, even in the live version when it was just guitars, it sounded more like Lannoy Points
yeah,
and very much like All I Want as well. Maybe you can say that. Jump Jet. It takes off like those songs. Jump Jets is another good, similar one. So maybe that's why they went for a different production on this. Actually, maybe they wanted to distinguish it from those other tracks on the post reunion albums.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good song. I like it. I think out of the singles, it's been the third one. It's probably no, not quite my favorite single. I think we've still got one left, if I'm right. So yeah, I think it's a good song. It's catchy. It's memorable. I feel like after my first listen of the album, this was the one that did get stuck in my head, and I think it was kind of going round and round afterwards, which is always a good sign. I think with an album, if a song has gotten stuck in your head, I mean, it could have been Peace Sign as well, but I much prefer this one as the catchy track.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is another one of those songs. Just reminds me, like I was saying earlier, of some of those bands that were doing this sort of thing in the 2000s. I mean, that indie rock sound, but with some of those
Mm.
extra elements of
Yeah,
electronics
maybe
and
a bit of MGMT kids,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
MGMT.
yeah. Um, yeah, so good
Yeah,
songs, but all I had to say about.
it's grown on me, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
was quite cynical towards it to begin with, but I think that's because I had this like live version in my head because I was like one of the lucky fans who heard it before
you
it was
got to see it.
released. So
Yeah,
I guess because I had that in my head, it kind of I went in with a different mindset. But now it's grown on me, and I think it's a good song, and it's the best single so far that we've talked about.
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, cool. On to the next one then. So
Oh, it's
I,
a good one. It's a good one.
I came to see the wreck, and I can see the excitement from Tom there already. And I thoroughly agree. I think it is worth getting excited about. I think it's a great track that it has two choruses. That's what I noticed. You've got the what's it? Is there anybody crying out in here? Something like that, isn't it? I thought I heard someone crying out in
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
And then you've got like a second chorus or an outro.
yeah.
I don't know how you want to determine it, but you got the siege. What's it? Search body and
Body and soul.
soul.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So I think it's really great. It's got a couple of good hooks there, and you definitely get some real cool reverb noises, like shimmery guitar sounds near the end. It's definitely building up. Yeah, and I like the drums as well. I think people compared it to Shouts by Tears for Fears a bit with the kind of the tribal drumming or something. But
yeah,
I think it's definitely a ride song. Definitely, I think they've done well to keep their authenticity there. So yeah, overall, a really great track that I do put on a lot.
yeah. A lot of people have been calling this one or saying comparing it to Depeche Mode as well, this particular track.
Mm.
Um, I know I was talking about this
Yeah.
on Hector's channel, Chill Dudes on the Couch, the other day.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did see
yeah,
the thumbnail come up for
come on.
that, but
Yeah,
I didn't want to watch it because otherwise it would spoil
spoiled
this.
it. Yeah,
No point. There
understandable.
wouldn't be any point in listening to you now if I knew what you thought.
If
So I
you knew
didn't
what I was
watch
going to
it.
say. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's a good song. I really like it. I think up to this point, it's my favorite so far. Like, it would be one of my favorite tracks from the album. If there was like a top five from this record, definitely this would be one of them. Yeah, it's just like a driving sound, like you say, it evolves well. And I like that this one has a slightly different, as you call it, a second chorus or an outro. Not quite sure what to call it really, but I like that it has that evolution in it as well. So it's not too one sort of, one dimensional. And I think the vocals are good, the effects work really well on the track as well. And yeah, it's a really, really solid track. And I don't get I don't get bored. It's what's about 5 minutes, isn't it? I think this one as well in terms of its length, but I don't get bored at all during it. It's good.
5 minutes 57 seconds.
Yeah, it's nearly 6 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
almost
quite.
proggy.
It's good how it has the track lengths on there as well.
Yeah,
It's kind of a thing of the past, really. I think having
yeah, I know, but
the
I
length
always
on them.
like that. I always like to see the track lengths next to the tracks. I don't know. It's
Mm,
just for me, it kind of there's something about seeing that gives you
sure,
the
yeah.
detail you might want on an album.
I mean, there's lots of really long tracks on here. I mean, you've got Lights in the Quiet Room was 6 minutes. Um, there's one second to last song is 7 minutes long.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. So next one, Stay Free. So yeah, I'll start this again. I really liked this one. I really do. Despite I know it got a bit of stick actually on the Ride group, and some people thought it was the weakest track. Actually,
Mm.
they were saying it was sounded like an Andy Bell solo song, but I'm totally in defense of it because I think when you read there was like a preview, wasn't there, done by the band, and they said about this was written during COVID, all of the lockdowns, and this song sounds like it's got a very claustrophobic kind of dark vibe to it, and I can imagine Andy Bell like strumming on his acoustic guitar with like nothing else to do, like unsure about the world outside and unsure, the confusion about what's going on with the lockdowns and stuff. And yeah, it really pulls off that vibe that I think many of us were feeling during lockdown.
Mm.
So I think the lyrics are very good on this one. It's like, stay free, don't sort of trust the government, and it's, it is a bit it's a bit political, I think, and yeah, stay free. It's quite kind of sinister tone, isn't it? It's like, and then I like this middle part where it kind of goes into like an even more like minor key. I don't really know about the theory of the song, but it sounds like it goes from major to minor because it goes like really dark and stuff like halfway through, and it's like it sounds like a no hope kind of song,
Yeah.
and it's good for Andy to write something that dark, whereas normally he's quite upbeat,
Mm.
isn't he? So I thought that was I think it's really good, and it's good to have an acoustic break from all of the electronic tracks or the electric tracks.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, although I personally I'm probably in the camp of people that don't really like this one as much, to be honest. I do get where you're coming from. I think it's a good idea to have an acoustic track. But yeah, the themes, the lyrics I can appreciate, I guess, but the song itself for me, it didn't really kind of do a lot for me myself. I found it kind of kind of bland, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's I see what you mean. There was a little bit of a change mid-song, and it did get darker towards the end. And it
Mm.
does have, it's nice that
Yeah,
it sort of has
I appreciate
that
what you mean,
influence. But
definitely.
but I mean,
Yeah,
each to their own. We can't be exactly the same page on everything.
but I thought it was quite a good change, the darkness of it, and like I said, I think it represented the lockdown times really well, and you got to think that
Yeah.
Ride haven't done an album actually since all that madness happened.
Yeah,
So I
that's
guess
very true.
it's good to hear their perspective on it. Even though I think they actually predicted it,
But this
with
is not a safe
this
place.
is not a safe place. Yes, I think yeah, it's like they predicted it, and this is their like aftermath kind of song. And it's like I came to see the wreck as well. I wonder if they predicted the that Baltimore shipping accident.
maybe. Yeah,
You're going
yeah,
to see the wreck with the ship plowing into that bridge.
yeah,
That was some eye opener, wasn't it?
yeah. Um, I did read that this album does have world issues sort of covered within it.
Well, I
Um,
mean, obviously, peace sign is obviously
yeah,
very poignant, really, with what's going on in the
yeah,
world. So, yeah, I guess that. I mean, I like peace song for that reason. I think it's good to have that message
mm,
conveyed, really,
yeah.
once again. So,
I guess
yes.
it's
So
true.
next track, yeah. So next track,
Ah, yeah. Last night I went somewhere to dream.
yeah, and this is where it starts to go wrong for me. I really didn't like this one. And I think I'm in disagreement with
You
you. Yeah, I can tell. I can tell.
know.
Um, the reason why
Fair enough.
is
Yeah.
the reason why the main thing might surprise you. Isn't it like a small thing to most people? But it really niggled me. You know, it's one of these things that just keeps on getting
I
on my
I might be
nerves.
able to guess what it is, but
All right, what do you think then? Let's hear your guess.
is it the way that he sings cha?
Yes. Did you read my comment or something? Did you?
No, I didn't, honestly. I
Did
honestly
leave
haven't.
a comment on their YouTube video for it saying, "What's the chow about?" Yeah, so, so I guess if you realise that, then you must have had a bit of a problem with it yourself.
No, no, not really. Although I can see why it would annoy some people, I think. Yeah, I see where
Yeah,
you're
and
coming from, Sam. But yeah, I'll explain why I like it.
mm,
Um, when we get to my
okay.
turn. But yeah, yeah. No,
So
carry
I think that's yeah, when you say the word awencha, what's the point? You know, I don't. What's that all about? You know, arms in the air. What the hell? What the hell? I just, you know, why couldn't you just say I went? You know, you don't even have to say the T, even, do you? Really? I went,
Just leave it as
and
a kind of it may be a pause or have something into it
my
or
best
something.
guess, maybe I don't know, maybe it's some sort of '80s pop kind of technique or something. You know, you get some kind of like cheesy bits, don't you, added
Yeah,
on to words and stuff
where
with,
they do that at the end of lines. Yeah.
yeah. But
Hmm.
also, I think that the lyrics as well, they kind of repeated themselves. It's like last night I went, and then next line is I went somewhere, and then I went somewhere to dream. So the thing I didn't like about it is that they've already established that they went somewhere, but they have to say it 3 times. It's like, you know, it's like they're repeating the same idea just to fit the meter, just to fit the song, to fit that chorus. You know,
Yeah.
they could have been more inventive with the words, I think.
Yeah.
You know, they're saying I went last night, I went, and then they're saying I went somewhere. But
Yeah.
why say I went somewhere? Because, you know, obviously you're going to go somewhere. You're not going to just
Lyrically, it
go
is fairly
nowhere.
simple. I'm looking at the lyrics now. It is pretty simple. Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess people, the one thing I guess I can vouch for is that, you know, it's like 6/8 timing. It's like it's not traditional like time signature. It's like it might be a 6/8 beats, but correct me if I'm wrong. Like 3/4 6/8, and the drumming is, I suppose that's interesting. This kind of tribal beat or something. I don't know if that's how you would describe it, maybe.
Mm.
But um, yeah, it just didn't do much for me. It just meanders along again. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, um, the thing for me with this song is at first I thought it was going to be a dull song, but there was just a part in the song I really, really enjoyed. I think it's got a certain charm to it. It is pretty simple lyrically, but I think it's got a certain charm to it, and I think it's sung pretty well. I do like the way it's sung. There's a bit where I was just looking at the lyrics so I could actually say which part of the song it is. When he sings, "When the morning comes, I'm always out of time, reaching for the pieces I've said." There's just some nice melodic kind of singing that I enjoyed. And I read somewhere someone comparing it to like a Beatles sounding track a little bit. And I sort of see
Yeah,
that a little bit.
somebody said Paul McCartney,
Yeah. It
like
might have been on the
one of his
YouTube
solo.
video. Yeah. and I thought, man,
Yeah, because
I can hear that a little
I
bit.
commented it soon after.
Did you? I
Yeah,
didn't
you.
see that. Yeah, I'll have to go back to it now.
Yeah, Shoegazer 93 definitely left a comment there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, Paul McCartneyism, something that he said.
a little bit. It's got
Yeah,
that vibe somewhat, and
yeah,
I just like the I just like the vocal, the singing. I just think it's nice. It's an easy going track,
mm,
a bit different from the one before, and it's interesting. These two tracks are back to back. The Stay Free and then this one. I find
mm,
that interesting. That it's sort of a midpoint in the album. It's like it's a little bit of a lull in a way, but the slow tempo of both of those um, compared to some of them. Maybe that's probably a
yeah.
deliberate thing they've done. It's probably deliberate, I imagine.
You reckon
Um,
Stay Free should have been a bit later in the album? Do you think?
maybe,
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I think I think it's got a charm. I think it's got a charm. I think you could, like you have said, and um, you could definitely be critical of the sort of the lyricism, and it's sort of doesn't do an awful lot, to be honest, as well, the song.
mm,
But I like that change, and I like that particular part of the song a lot, where
yeah.
his singing develops into that nice kind of soothing vocal line.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I think it was one I kept on going back, listening to it, trying to force myself to like it. I thought there's definitely, I was thinking there's definitely something here. I thought there is something there, but I just couldn't, see it as a ride classic. No. And also, I think I had preconceptions because of the name. Like last night, I went somewhere to dream. I thought it was going to be like the Super Shoegaze one, and I was
Yeah,
expecting like a Today. You checked out Today, didn't you? And Unfamiliar.
yep.
The
I
one with the
didn't know
shark on the
that was
front.
amazing. But
I was
yeah,
expecting a bit of a throwback to like Unfamiliar, and I thought they could have done something more interestingly sonically, but instead they just kind of done these like basic like reverb sounds in the background. But I thought maybe they could have just thrown on like a phaser or a flanger just to make it even more dreamy, just to match the title of the song.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that one done. So Sunrise Chaser then. Wow. Well, this is my least favorite.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Complete thumbs down for this. This is my
Okay.
least favorite of the album.
Fair enough.
So it's two back-to-back
Mm.
stinkers in my opinion. Um, yeah, I just think that it's got this like funky Nile Rodgers,
Yeah.
James Brown kind of guitar in,
Yeah.
and it was kind of contrasted with these kind of dour, quite dark lyrics from Mark Gardiner, and I just didn't really. I don't think they matched up. I mean, I guess because I'm not really like a Smiths fan, so I never really got into the Smiths, surprisingly. So I don't really like the contrast of like dark lyrics with like a real happy kind of guitar. And it's something just didn't fit for me there, and I just don't think it went anywhere either. It wasn't very interesting. When I think about the song, there's nothing memorable about it. All I can think of is that funky guitar and just Mark just waffling on. There's no melody I could really
Hmm.
vibe off.
Interesting. Yeah, I quite liked this one. It's not my favorite, but I quite liked it. I thought it's like a kind of 1980s sounding song to me. Like you say, it's got that sound on the guitar, which is a little bit distracting at times,
Mm.
doesn't it? Where it sort of sounds really raw, and that to me doesn't quite fit with
Yeah.
the tone of the track.
Yeah,
That
it does.
guitar
It
sound.
does. It is very like stuck out, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
very
it
forward.
does stick out. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed this one actually. I kind of enjoyed it. Yeah, I think it's got that open sound, very open, very chill. A little bit of a sort of synth pop vibe in there from that sort of era. Yeah, I kind of dug it. It's a moody kind of nice track, but it does sound pretty familiar from stuff I've heard before in that kind of style. And I don't know, yeah, it's kind of more. I guess this sort of thing is more to my taste probably, um,
Mm.
than for you. You know, like sort of little classic ride sounds and just sort of shoegazier tracks. But yeah, I quite liked. I quite liked it, but I wouldn't go mad about it either. I don't think it's not my favorite. Not
Interesting.
probably not one of my top three either. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting stuff. There's also that kind of like post rock kind of. It reminded me of Mogwai, or
Yeah.
the ending where the strings come in.
Mm.
There's a
Yes.
bit of post rock in there. Sigur Rós, maybe Mogwai. There's another band, New Zealand band called Jakob, or I don't know if it's Jakob or Jacob, because you got like the Scandinavian um, pronunciation, which is Jakob, isn't it? And then there's Jacob, because it's like spelt Jakob, and they got a song called "Blind Them with Science," and it's a really cool post rock track, just just instrumental, but it sounded very similar to the intro strings of
Okay.
that song. Yeah, so Jacob, Blind Them with Science, definitely worth checking out. So yeah, but I thought that was a bit random the way those strings just came in. It felt, you got this like happy funk guitar, and then suddenly this kind of these dark strings descend on it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a strange
Transition.
juxtaposition. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's my kind of duffer tracks out of the way. But you seem
Right.
to be in defense.
Yeah, the Duffer tracks.
The duffer tracks. But yeah, I think it's all uphill from here. So that's the good thing for me.
Oh yeah.
So
I think we're gonna both be on the same page now. I've got a feeling.
cool. I
Yeah.
got a feeling. Woo! Another song there. All right, so now Midnight Rider. Nice.
Good song.
Yeah. I think if you know Barrel of a Gun by Depeche Mode,
Yep.
which is sort of 90s Depeche Mode track, and
Come back again.
it really did remind me of that, with the stomping drums, had a bit of menace to it. And I like the Midnight Rider. I like that. Really quite good chorus that comes in. And yeah, just a really cool track. Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I think it's one that you
And
got to play this loud, really. I think it's more effective, nice, and yeah. I mean, most of the songs you should play loud, but this one particularly needs to be played loud, and yeah,
bit of industrial
bit of
influence. Yeah,
industrial influence there. Yeah, good
for
beat,
sure.
good beat. Um,
Well, I'm not quite sure what it's about, to be honest. But
no idea.
yeah, but
I was
perhaps.
hoping you might know something about the inspiration behind this one, because I've got no idea.
Well, not in any luck.
Yeah,
Unless it's about maybe like driving around during lockdown, and it was
maybe.
just about the freedom of like riding around at midnight with no one around. I don't know.
Yeah.
But actually, it actually relates to me with my the night shift job. It's like me staying awake all night, and so I guess it's got some connection to what I do.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
Yeah, which is good. It's good to good to resonate with something.
Yeah.
Okay, is that all we're saying about Midnight Rider? Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, it's not a song I have too much to say about, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Good driving bass and
Yeah,
beat.
well, for me, it's a good recovery after those two tracks that I didn't enjoy. Yeah, would have been quite worried if this was a bit of a stinker as well. Then, yeah, it'd be quite worrying.
Yeah.
But they saved themselves here with Midnight Rider, and now we're on to the fourth single, which is Portland Rocks.
Yeah.
Portland Rocks, like that. Like Hector would say, play this loud. I got into a bit of a habit now of replying to Hector with "play it loud" on the comments. It's kind of stuck with me.
He's got some good catchphrases. He's got some
He
good
has.
catchphrases. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
good.
I think
See you, see you on the couch. Yeah.
I have to try and up my game. I think with these kind of
Yeah, me too.
yeah. So yeah, Portland Rocks. So yeah, this is obviously guitar driven. It's acoustic drums. It's what you expect from Ride. A bit of taste in there, I think. The
Yeah.
song taste, with its kind of uplift, and it's kind of like the feeling of flying kind of vibe to it. You know, it's like a non-stop kind of, you're flying through the air kind of thing. But I don't think it's the shoegaze classic that people are saying it is. I wouldn't
Okay.
say, I wouldn't say. I think you're kind of stretching the parameters of what shoegazing is
Mm.
if you're saying it's that, because it's more like just indie rock. I would say, it reminds me of like Feeder, like Feeder, like feeling a moment,
Mm.
something like that song, like something from Pushing the Senses by Feeder. It's kind of just an uplifting indie rock song, but
Yeah.
it's a good one. It's
It's a good one.
certainly one that makes you feel good, I think, on the album. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's my favorite maybe on the album as well for me. Like you say, is it, yeah, I find it, to me it has a bit of a classic shoe, even if it's not shoegaze per se. I feel like it's got the feel of it, and the most one of the most Ride tracks, or at least the sounds that I would
Yeah.
associate a bit more with Ride from the 1990s. But that may just be me. But I really enjoyed this one. I loved it. Yeah, I think it's um I never found it boring. It was like you say, it's got good uplift in it. It's good guitar, just strong track throughout its runtime. And yeah, I really dig this one. I think it's a high point on the album for me. Um, you know,
Yeah.
After Midnight Rider, it's a really good song.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I think, yeah, and it's also like a bit of anger, I think, on the verses. It's a bit of kind of rocky angst, I think, in the lyrics on the verses, and there's like power chords underneath it. So it's got a bit of menace, and then when it gets to the chorus, it's like happy again, and there's a bit of nothing in there as well. I think the
Yeah,
band's Nothing. They did that song, didn't they? Called from Tide of Tomorrow, Vertigo Flowers. That's the song. It was like one of their big singles from their second album, and it's definitely that kind of vibe to it. And yeah, obviously a winning track for sure.
yeah.
And yeah, up there with like Jump Jet and Lanoi Point and All I Want, I think, for post reunion Ride songs. I think it's along those lines.
Post reunion, greats. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting on the Rider group. Somebody made like it was like a poll or like a forum where you could do like your top 13 songs, making an album of all the post reunion
Post
songs.
reunion Ride songs.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
had to
Yeah.
choose the best from the three albums.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting little debate that we had on there.
Yeah. You could probably, yeah, I would probably have. I'm not going to try it now, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Light in the Quiet Room made it as well
Yeah.
to that list.
For
Okay,
you.
next one then.
Yeah.
A Saura or a
I couldn't
Sora.
say it.
I no.
I've tried to say it a
A
lot, but
place in Morocco apparently.
yeah. Okay.
I never knew that before.
Yeah. SRR.
Yeah, I don't know. A Saura. But yeah, this highlight. Yeah, definitely. Is it my favorite or second to favorite? It's there with Portland Rocks and Light in the
Yeah.
Quiet Room, and I Came to See the Wreck.
Yeah.
It's up there with those tracks for me. I really like it because it's different. It's a dub feel to it. So
Hmm.
when stuff fades away and then comes back in again, it's like sonically interesting. Like all these different sounds coming and going. Yeah, and I think they don't run out of ideas. Actually, it's like the vocals and stuff. They go places, and it's not like just stuck in one gear, is it? There's like certain little variations still. Um, it actually reminds me of like of like Nowhere, the song Nowhere, actually, where it's kind of like jammy and it's like quite kind of free form. It's like the song Nowhere, just not quite as drony as that.
Yeah.
and yeah, just a real big highlight. Definitely one you can drift off to sleep to, and just a relaxing, chilled song, isn't it? Which is good.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot as well. I mean, it's a little bit, I don't know, 7 minutes of it, but it's good. It's really good. It's one of my favorites as well. Again, probably a top five on this album for me. Um, a pretty strong way. Not quite the last song, is it? You got one left, haven't we? But it's the one but last. And I wouldn't have minded the album personally for me finishing on this point, for my money. But I think it was a good song. Lots of really cool textures to it, nuances as it goes along. And I think it's actually my first listen. I wasn't that into it, but then by listen number three and four, I really started to like it. So I think this one's a bit out of the whole album is the most of
Mm.
the one that's grown on me the most. I'll get
Yeah,
there eventually.
a real grower.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
grower for me, that one, a grower.
Yeah. What's that garden company called? Was it something Grow, isn't it? The bottles you get.
Oh, I can't think now.
I don't know. I don't know. Just reminded me of that. Okay, so that gets us onto the final song, a 12 track album, which I really liked the concept of. I thought that was really good. Didn't seem shortchanged or anything.
Yeah,
It's good to have 12 tracks.
yeah, get your
Um,
money's worth.
yeah. And so this last track, Yesterday is just a song. And this was just like a little drony outro. I thought it was okay. It reminded me of Pink Floyd, actually.
Yeah,
Like
I should like it.
Dark Side, like something like Brain
Mm,
Damage or Eclipse. I think
yeah.
Eclipse is the final song on Dark Side of the Moon, and it just kind of the way the vocals are and stuff
Oh,
reminded me of
cool.
that Roger Waters, Gilmore kind of harmony thing, and also the lyrics reminded me of Time by Pink Floyd. The song Time, because I think it's about not wasting time and just getting on with stuff, and because there's lyrics in there. I mean, I can't remember them actually off the top of my head, but it's just stuff about just don't waste time. You never know when it's going to be another lockdown, or I guess that's what it's inspired by. It must be some kind of lockdown reminiscence going on.
Yeah, it's got that introspective Pink Floyd thing going on. I think you're right on the money with that. For some reason, it doesn't really, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of half and half with this. I neither dislike it nor do I particularly love it, but I think it's a well written and pretty Pink Floydian song, which means I should love it because I adore Pink Floyd. But yeah, I think it's got the all of the elements that it works quite well as a final song. And I was just saying I would have preferred maybe Assyria, how you say it, to maybe be the last track on the album for me. But as one of the shorter, slower tempo tracks on the album, it's a pretty solid one.
Yeah, thought
But
it
yeah,
was all
I
right.
just don't
Yeah,
really feel particularly strongly about it either direction. But it's all right. It's
yeah,
all right.
yeah. I agree. Yeah, just yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, there we go. That's the whole album, and
That's it.
I think we can be quite happy with it. Definitely, I think it blends with the other two post reunion albums with
Oh
Weather Diaries and This Is Not a Safe Place.
yeah,
Um, I don't think it blows them out of the water though. I think there's strong tracks on all three albums, and there are some duffers, I guess, as well on all three.
yeah. I think
But
it's
I
quite.
think they're a solid band still, and they're really good live. If you definitely want to see them live for sure,
What I'd quite like
with
to
their
do is listen to all three of their most recent era albums, the comeback era albums, all together and see how it kind of fits and see how, in my mind, which one of those I then prefer. Because to me, they're all at a similar sort of level with
yeah,
how I like them.
mm,
I I
definitely,
I think I listened to Weather Diaries again recently. I was like, I think this is still my favorite,
yeah,
maybe from reunion
yeah.
years. I
Yeah, I
think
was in
Weather Diaries
agreement.
is,
I went back and listened to it, and I was
yeah,
thinking, yeah, this
it's
is
a
my
great
favorite.
return album. you know.
Yeah, songs like Cali
Yeah.
is probably my favorite actually from that one. But I even like the filler tracks, like integration tape. I listened back to that,
I
and
like that one. Yeah.
which is just the guitar instrumental thing.
I
But
think we spoke about that, didn't we? I remember me saying that was one of my. Did we do a top five ride tracks not super long ago, maybe? Or am I imagining that?
yeah, we
We
did
did do
do
a
top
top
five.
five ride songs.
Must have made your top five because I don't think it.
I think it was an
With the
honourable.
classic tracks, it didn't quite
Is
make it
it,
for
I
me.
don't
I
think it
don't
made my
think.
top five tracks. I think it was an honourable mention for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we did do that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, even like the filler tracks on Weather Diaries was really great. And then you got like stuff that was at Shadows and Shadows Behind the Sun
mm,
from This Is Not a Safe Place. And well, that reminded me a bit of Stay Free. That's why I thought Stay Free was good because it reminded me of that kind of acoustic break that I think
yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah,
the album needed.
yeah,
But like you say, I agree with maybe it should have come a bit later, like a track 10 or 11, something like that. It should have come later in the album.
yeah. Hey. Yeah, I think I like this. I haven't really. I think it's always kind of hard to. We've both only had still a week with it, haven't we? It came out last Friday, so
Yeah, yeah, I've listened
yeah,
to it
29th
in
of
the
March.
car on the way to
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
I haven't, overly played it. I just let it kind of settle in my head. I think if you listen to it too much, then you can distort your thoughts a bit. So I think I
yeah,
listened to it about like 5 times altogether, probably this week.
yeah,
About
yeah.
5.
I'm just wondering where it may end up for me. Yeah, if I had to rank them again, the albums, where I'd put this one, I think I'd prefer it to Tarantula personally.
Oh
Know
yeah,
that.
definitely.
I
Oh
know
yeah,
that much.
100%. Yeah. Probably Carnival of Light as well. So I'd probably put this. So a lot of people on the rider group, they sort of don't like This Is Not a Safe Place, which
Hmm.
really baffles me because I thought that was a great album.
Yeah, I
Like,
really liked that one as
yeah,
well.
I know that was your favorite. Like, In This Room was a great ending,
Oh
closing
yeah,
song.
yeah.
Yeah,
That album's got some tracks on I really love. It's
it's
whether or not against Weather Diary. I think Weather Diaries as an album I prefer, but This Is Not a Safe Place has got some of my favorite
yeah,
reunion individual songs on it. Yeah.
yeah. Clouds of Saint Marie. That's one I keep on forgetting about.
Oh yeah,
And I quite like its eternal recurrence. For the shoegazy stuff.
yeah.
They got that shimmer reverb going on through it.
Good track.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
All right. So yeah, I think we've covered that.
I think we've done a good coverage in depth of each track. And
Yeah, it's good
yeah,
to see you again.
so,
And
yeah, it's always good. It's always good to have you give like some of the musical theory stuff. You get some of that in there as well, which I don't really know so much about. So it's always good to have a bit of your musician angle on things as well as
all right, thank you.
an actual band's kind of guitarist coming into the fray. An actual shoegaze in the band as well. So
Mm,
yeah.
yeah,
All
thanks.
right. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
I'll probably watch the Hector one now.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I've
you
actually
can see
got
if I've
something.
changed my mind since that.
Yeah.
You can compare
No,
notes.
but, it'd be interesting to see what Senorita Censora,
Yeah, she has some interesting things
what
to say
she
about.
thinks of it,
Yeah,
and also
yeah,
Hector,
yeah,
because he's quite a newbie to the band, isn't he? So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
be
He's pretty new
interesting.
to them, so
Has he
yeah.
listened to Nowhere yet?
I think he has. I'm not 100% sure. He said he
Yeah,
checked
because
out their 90s stuff, but yeah, that could be anything from
could be the
any
tarantula.
up
Yeah.
to Tarantula, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Hopefully, he's not just listened to
Hope it was the
Tarantula.
first two albums he needs, really, doesn't he, to
Yeah,
get the
yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
I love
think
Going Blank again. I think maybe as my novel, but yeah.
yeah, well, I've always thought that was their it's kind of the one that defines Ride. I think it shows all the different sides to them.
Yeah.
I think it's the one they're probably most proud of.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like the first two as much
Yeah.
as each other.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Fair enough.
Cool.
All right then. Well, we may as well do the usual messaging to everybody saying don't forget to drop a sub to both of our channels, to Sam,
Yeah, the Green Man.
Shoegaze93, and make sure you subscribe to his channel. If you're a Shoegaze fan and you're not subbed to Sam, what's going on? What are you doing? And
Yeah,
don't forget as well to sub to my channel for all things rock and
yeah,
metal album reviews, and
definitely a
obviously
great
fantasy and
channel.
horror. Fantasy and
Lots of symphonic metal stuff as well, which is
Symphonic
great.
Sundays is running.
Yes,
It's going well. It's going well. Yeah, going strong.
yeah, do check them out.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All right, thanks, Sam. And thanks everybody for watching this
yeah,
episode dedicated to Riot's latest album. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will drop a link in the description box, obviously,
yeah.
for the album and the a link to where you can go and buy it. Cool stuff. Thanks all. Bye for
Cool.
now.